Welcome to Creamer Media's Resources Watch, a weekly video roundup of the events and people making and shaping the news in the mining industry. This week, Kumba says a study beyond 60 million tonnes a year of iron ore is imminent. Eskom is positioned to power Angloplat's growth. And ArcelorMittal South Africa scraps the steel surcharge, but higher ore prices are to be reflected in a new all-in price. The external concept study that is expected to shed fresh light on the expansion of the Sishen-Saldanha rail capacity beyond 60 million tonnes a year should be available soon.
There has been a progression in discussions between ourselves and Transnet about how we look at the volume beyond 60 million tonnes. Previously, Transnet did all this themselves, and they came together and they decided how and when the expansions will be in place. And that has changed. We have had industry involvement, so we've had the iron ore and the manganese industry now working together with Transnet to see what the next expansion beyond 60 million tonnes looks like, what the capital cost can be, how we can do it more efficiently. And this is quite a significant difference to the approach that was taken before. There are two key elements of the growth going forward where Transnet's involved. The one is the final ramp up to 47 million tonnes, and that process is underway. Transnet are delivering new locomotives. I think their locomotive delivery plan is largely scheduled for the second half of this year. So they should be able to make their projected ramp up to 47 million tonnes. From 47 to 60 million tonnes, of which we have 9 million tonnes of that capacity. That expansion is already underway, and that's for the rail link to Sishen South or Kolomela mine. Transnet are on track to deliver their 60 million tonnes, and then beyond the 60 million tonnes, industry now have got involved to try and facilitate expansion at perhaps a quicker pace than would otherwise have been the case.
Anglo Platinum CEO Neville Nicolau says that state-owned power utility Eskom is positioned to meet the growth requirements of Anglo Platinum.
Eskom is positioned, even if there are some further delays to their capital build program, to meet our requirements. I mean, I'm pretty confident that we would be able to manage the sort of ongoing relationship with Eskom. Electricity is not a constraint directly, but it is something that we manage quite carefully.
Internally, we accept that we need to reduce the consumption of electricity and to improve the efficiency of electricity. And doing that, we're also looking very carefully at our relationship with Eskom, together with the other Anglo Group companies and other major providers, to make sure that we manage our way through that process. I can't guarantee that there will never be issues in terms of Eskom, but what I can do is that everything that we can do in terms of reducing the amount of power that we consume and to help Eskom in times of difficulty, we will absolutely do.
Anglo Group coal mines, they're talking about generating their own power. Could you get a slice of that?
We take off the national grid as everybody does, so we don't get any particular benefit from that. But I mean, of course, if the problem is solved for the country, then it's solved for us as well.
Africa's largest steel maker, ArcelorMittal South Africa, will suspend a controversial iron ore surcharge and begin charging a single all-in price, reflecting the higher cost of iron ore as agreed in an interim price agreement with Kumba Iron Ore.
The interim agreement has no bearing whatsoever on the arbitration process that is currently underway. The arbitration process is continuing at the pace that had been intended. Both sides have now announced their arbitrators selected for the panel, and those two arbitrators will now get to grips with selecting the third one. As Kumba has also confirmed in their own results announcement, we anticipate that this process could take anything from 18 months to 2 years. Secondly, the continuation of the arbitration process does not rule out the possibility that a new long-term agreement can be negotiated between the parties before the expiry of the interim agreement. Were such a negotiated settlement to be reached, it could considerably shorten the time it takes to come up with the final solution. Finally, we remain committed to doing everything possible to protect our profitability in this period, as well as make decisions that protect the domestic steel industry and the broader South African economy, and importantly, the interests of our shareholders.
For mining news as it breaks, stay logged on to miningweekly.com and register for our free daily newsletter.